Hello, students. So finally, after long wait, UPSC has declared the result for the mains. And the moment result for the mains gets declared, the those who actually qualify for the interview, there are so mixed kind of feeling. Obviously, there is a feeling of being achieved something, especially those who have cracked mains first time, and also for those who have going through the interview process maybe twice or thrice, they also have kind of feeling that interview being a very mysterious and very unpredictable kind of thing. So let me I'll what I will try to do is I'll try to kind of demystify a little bit, whichever way possible, that what interview means and how the interview can be seen and perceived. See, first you need to understand as to why this process of interview is being taken by UPSC. See, if you see apparently from outside, it can be clearly seen and felt that it is very subjective, because you keep hearing about this. It depends on board, it depends on the time, it depends on the day and all those things. But if you see the kind of work you are required to do as an administrator, this interview kind of situations are going to be there almost on the daily basis for you. Okay, so there will be political bosses that you need to report to, and you have to project yourself and your work and your district and your whatever department that you're holding, and you need to convince them in the matter of 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Second, you also are required to give justification for your actions, whatever actions that you have taken, legal justification, moral and social angle, everything. So even if you're answering to your seniors for that matter, okay, when you are in the field, when you are doing your juniorship kind of thing, so again, that case also you need to project yourself as to what all decisions that you have taken have some logical and constitutional, administrative, legal basis. So don't think that it's just 20 minutes thing and I don't know why they are taking. They are taking it because they want to see you, as in whether they because sometimes you can write something, you can practice yourself and write some things, but when you actually stand in front of the seniors, standing in front of those who can actually decide your career, you actually behave in a different way, because it's a tensed kind of environment. It's a very short time and it's very crucial time for you. It is indeed crucial time, but you need to understand interview from the perspective of UPSC. As in, see, many people complain that I don't know how in 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes they can judge me as a person. Yes, they can, because they are not judging you as a person. They are just judging your capacity, your matching vis-a-vis the requirement of the job. And you may ask as to how it is possible. It is possible because they have an experience of around 30 years, 20 years in the administration and also in the social life. They know the social backgrounds that you might be carrying with you from this, the area that you belong to, the social background that you belong to, economic status that you belong to, educational status and all. So they can actually judge you. For this, just take an example. Now you have reshare, you know so many things, you are a learned person. Now if you're asked sorry, you are asked to interview students who are to be enrolled in 5th standard or 6th standard, okay, and you have to interview them. Why don't you think that once you start interview, within 10 minutes you understand whether the person what kind of on particular yardsticks of logical flow, articulation, consistency, sensitivity, compassion, legal knowledge, current affairs and all the yardsticks that you have, objectivity, rationality, you can judge the person within 10 minutes. You can judge, and most of the cases the judgment will go right. Because there is subjectivity, yes, there would be some 5-10 marks here and there which may impact. I know the 5-10 marks has a big impact, but anyway it's not in your hand. But this particular myth, okay, this particular myth that it's all subjective, depends on this and that. Last attempt I got 210, this attempt I'm getting 110. How is that? Does that mean that my personality degraded completely? See, there are aberrations, yes, but you need to understand one thing. 7 out of 10 cases, the core of the particular person, irrespective of the years, irrespective of the board, remains more or same. Like, if somebody is getting 160, the next time he may get 170 or 150 of that sort. Only 2 to 3 cases out of 10, or maybe 1 or 2 cases out of 10, it may happen that the person, because of so many things, may suddenly get a very different score as compared to the score the person had got last year. But what happens is, this aberration, see, aberration always becomes news, and news is always prevalent in the narrative, and as a result in the consciousness of the person, students, aspirants. So they conclude on the basis of that interview is subjective, because I am telling it from my own perspective, own experience rather, I should say, that when I joined service, and because I had this doubt, because I always got very good marks in interview, so, and I kept hearing about, it depends on boards and things, and in fact I knew, because of my own understanding of myself, I knew that I will get good marks, because I always got good marks in interview on all kinds of interviews that I have been giving during engineering and things like that. So I always had this kind of thought or understanding, analysis, that it is not that subjective and weirdly subjective. That's what people try to kind of project. It's not. So I always kept an eye as to what marks people got and all. So whenever when I actually went to the academy, and I tried to kind of survey as to what all marks people got. So that's the reason I said, almost 8 out of 10 people got consistently similar kind of marks. Like this year 145, second year 152, another year 153. Some people got 190, 200, 185. So most of the people got the marks which are very much consistent to their marks with respect to their previous attempts. So I could actually conclude that, broadly speaking, it is not weirdly subjective. It is subjective because subjectivity is needed when you actually face the real life situations. You need to understand the importance of subjectivity. Otherwise, do you think that all the questions should be objective, and the one who can write A, B, C, D and get maximum marks is the best person to deal with the real life situations? No. So that is the reason interview has been kept. And why I am telling all this thing is because if you keep this perspective in your mind, that it is all subjective and it depends on naseeb, and it depends on destiny, luck and all, then you will not be able to prepare properly. You will not be able to present yourself properly, and so you will ultimately end up getting less marks. So because as a reality, as I already told you, that as a reality, it is not weirdly subjective, though it is subjective, and it is rightfully so and legitimately so. It has to be subjective, but no need to be scared about it. One, that is the fact, that is my analysis. And another thing, it's not even a beneficial perspective to hold, that it's subjective or kuch bhi nahi hota yaar, ab jao, it's all upon their mood. It's not that. They have enough capacity to keep their personal emotional mood and things away and see every student with a fresh eye. Barring few 5-10 marks here and there, you have to leave it to them, because that's how your life also will be in administration. Okay. So this must be very clear in your mind, that it is not weirdly subjective and behave like a escapist. Okay, you need to take responsibility of your preparation and do the proper preparation. Now, when we say preparation, what does it mean? Now, interview, see, we have given the name of the program as interview mentorship program, and interview is the word has been colloquially used to indicate this. But if you see the notification of UPSC, the word used by UPSC is what? Personality test. So what they do is they would like to know and understand and kind of conclude or judge in a very value neutral way. Judgment, in colloquially we use judgment as a negative thing. He is judging me and she is judging me and all that. Here judgment is a value neutral thing. You have something in front of you, analyze and judge. So that is there. They are there to judge you. They are there to analyze you and kind of evaluate you. Okay, they want to know you basically, because it's subjective. It's not objective. There are some objective criteria also, but still they would like to put this very fluidly, because life doesn't work according to math only. In addition to the digits, in addition to the math, there is a fluidity into it, and that fluidity needs subjective grasp. Okay, So they would like to know you. So they would like to know your personality means you have to show your personality. Simple. So because they have 20 minutes and all that you have is your words, that means your understanding, insight, knowledge, information, everything, and your expressions and gestures. So expression and gestures and your words, that is whatever you say. These are the only two things, and that too within the span of 20-30 minutes, you have to present. So you have to present in that form in such a way that, because you may say no, in my otherwise in my life I'm a this person, that kind of person, I'm a better person and all, but it is very difficult to judge somebody looking into the outside life for evaluating them for maybe 2 months, 3 months. It's not possible practically. So you have to kind of accept it very pleasantly that this is going to be the only way you can be judged for the interview or evaluated for the personality test. So when we say that you will be evaluated for the personality test, so what is personality? Now, personality, not all the aspects of your personality, but the most relevant aspect for the administration. You need to keep in mind these things first. There are some obviously very, very basic lines. You should not be misogynist, sexist. You should not be patriarchal. You should not be you should not be following the superstitions. Should not be anti-constitutional, anti-national. You should not be naively idealistic. Okay, and you should not be a cry baby, in the sense you should not be always coming with problems and leave it there. You should be a person who are interested in problem solving, the positive aspect, optimistic. Now you may say, why I can be pessimistic? Then this is not the place for you. There might be so many other areas where you can write very wonderful books based on the pessimism. Optimism is what you require. So these are the basic things. If you don't have that, why do you expect to get selected? Because if you have a DM or a SP or any government administrator that you have some work with, what are qualities you expect from them? You expect them to be, not anti-casteist, not casteist, not patriarchal, not misogynist, okay, and then a better listener, then constitutional kind of constitutionalist in the sense somebody believes in constitutional values, legally sound person, compassion, okay, and local sensitivities, all those things, and obviously uncorrupt. So all those things are expected by you only from the administration. So why don't you think they will expect from you in the personality test, that is interview? Now, but the point is here, they are not going to judge you for a period of 2 years, 3 years, 10 years. That will anyway happen once you get into the service. Here you have only 20-30 minutes, whatever time allocated to you. Now, here you also need to understand that 20 minutes you need to kind of engage them also, okay, because they are also human beings. So you may say, no, they are not robots, they are not perfect, so they might have judged me wrongly. This is all okay. In fact, technically it might be very correct only, but practically it is very useless argument, because nothing is going to happen. It is just a justification that you will give to yourself. So just keep in mind that it's a personality test. They are going to test my personality, and if they find my personality apt for the job, they will give me better marks. If not, they will give me lesser marks, medium marks, whatever, according to their judgment, and their judgment has to be kept kind of unappealed. Keep that thing in mind and try to kind of make your personality, try to think like an administrator, try to behave like an administrator, try to carry yourself like an administrator, kind of responsibility, compassion, and things like that, logical things, rationality, objectivity, all those things. Now when we say personality, obviously the personality does not get kind of made in that particular 20, like we have 20 days and 10 days, some may have only 7-8 days, but obviously you cannot change or make any part of your major part of your personality within that period. But then you may ask as to what you are preparing for. What is that particular thing you are preparing for? Then there is nothing to prepare. No, there is something to prepare, because your personality is a very vague, very open-ended, very broad kind of thing, and you need to have the capacity to articulate your personality, and especially the positive aspects of your personality, within a span of 20 minutes, 20-30 minutes, and that too in response to the questions that they have asked. So what you have to do is you have to make yourself ready. Don't try to change your personality, but whatever See, everybody has positives in the personality. Okay? So just focus on those and try to curtail at least for some time during the period of interview, not compromising on the basic things that we talked about, being patriarchal and all that. No compromise there, but apart from that, there will be slight here and there, and you can just, no issues, you can just control, you know what is right, what is wrong, and just speak accordingly. Okay, certainly you're coming from, see, you're going to serve in Indian society, you're coming from Indian society. Okay, so they being, you know, elder to you, senior to you, so those things also need to be taken into consideration. See, just imagine that you are going and you go having an interaction with, you know, your father, your mother's some boss or friend, okay, who is also at, you know, senior level in government, or some senior employee, senior in the office of your mother or father. Why I'm saying mother or father is because that age thing, age area, or the age batch is going to interview you. Okay, you will not suddenly see somebody interviewing which is lesser, has lesser age than you, most likely. So their sensibilities also need to be taken into consideration. Now, why it is taken in, it is required to be taken into consideration? Because once you join as a DM, you have to take that into consideration when you talk to your seniors and your political bosses. So that's the requirement of the job. Why do you think they will not see it? So the cultural sensitivities, you know, have expecting certain courtesy and respect and mannerism for, because they being senior in age and also in post and the knowledge and so many things. So that also you need to take into consideration. So all those things you have to prepare for, because generally we don't face this situation very regularly, so we may not be groomed enough to do that. So that is one aspect you need to prepare, the personality, okay, so that your personality can be presented in a better way. But when it comes to preparation, as I was talking about, this is all gestures and mannerism and things, but the another aspect, that is concepts and all, you need to have some, there are some, you know, there are some things that you need to put your brain into. Okay, the most important thing is your DAG, because anyway what they are checking your personality. They already checked your knowledge, they already checked your information, but you need to understand one thing, even to check the personality, you need to have some bare minimum knowledge. Okay, suddenly if they ask you what Article 21 of Constitution of India says, you cannot say no, you have already checked my knowledge in mains, so I don't remember now. You can't say like that. There are some basic knowledge you need to have, and that basic in UPSC itself is a very high standard of knowledge, because it always helps. And you, whenever you want to put any argument for any issue, it's always better to have better complete insights or multifaceted view about that particular thing. So you need to right now onwards till your interview is over, need to see interview any issue from the point of view of many stakeholders, especially those who are marginalized, for compassion and things, and also from the administrative point of view for practical feasibility. So these two aspects are always to be taken into consideration. So practical feasibility includes economic feasibility, implementational feasibility, and all that, and also compassion, sensitivity, and all. You need to combine them, because interview and also your job as an administrator is all about balance. It's all about balance as to whether it is sensitive and compassionate enough towards marginalized section, which includes, you know, women, Dalits, tribals, minorities, you know, people below poverty line, and other like laborers and other people, you know, nomads and all. So you need to take into consideration those who are powerless, landless, and those things. You know all those things. But on the other hand, you need to also understand that the other part of the society might be smaller, but they are also part of the society, and they have their own practical constraints. So as an administrator, you cannot be revolutionary, you can be proactive. Okay, proactive civil servant is better rather than revolutionary civil servant. If you want to be revolutionary, if you think you are revolutionary, I would tell you in the first place only, okay, this is not the place for you, because it's not your responsibility. Ultimately, you're not against anyone, you just want to improve the society in all, and you're choosing administration is one of the tools to implement your ideas for the social progress. But if you think your ideas are too revolutionary, UPSC, that is government job, is not the place for you. Let the others sustain the job, let the others sustain the day-to-day business of the government. You get into some better this thing. Okay, So, but now because that you have, as you already appeared for the mains and you cracked it, I assume that you are not revolutionary in the sense of extreme or anything of that sort, whichever ideology it might be. You cannot be extreme with respect to sensitivity and compassion, so-called left. That is also not required. You need to balance out both, keeping compassion and the practical feasibility. And that is what is expected when you keep the views, when you project your views about social issues. Then coming back to the point that I was talking about, the most important thing for your UPSC preparation is your DAF, that is detailed application form. Because why? Because that is the only thing that they have an access to you, your life, your personality. So they will read it and they will ask questions. What they would expect from you is there has to be sync between what is written here, your biodata and your background and your graduation and your job and things like that, and whatever you're saying now. There has to be sync. See, what you are written here and suddenly you're saying something out of the blue, which you might have just borrowed from somewhere, thinking that it's very, it looks very brownie kind of point. Let me tell you, it may give me more marks. Nothing of that sort going to happen. So what you need to do is prepare yourself for the interview. Okay, means prepare yourself with respect to information. Yes, for that you need to read some current affairs, especially current affairs related to your district, your state. If you not if the village also you are coming from, or the smaller place that you're coming from has some importance, you need to know that. Some personalities from your area, those aspects, and general current affairs about India and the world. Okay, or government policies and things like that. Second, whatever the administration has been doing now, you need to have some hang of it as to some positive aspect happening there, how a particular scheme is being implemented, how some new scheme is coming, which is promising some positive results and things like that, or some areas where the scheme has been like, for example, polio eradication, how did it happen, and how, especially if you're from medical background, for example. So they would certainly ask questions from that. And another thing, so see, the point is there is some central thing which you should be very clear about, and that is about you. All the important decisions that you have taken in your life, that is, for example, you might have taken science or arts or engineering or medicine or MBA or BA economics, MA economics, whatever, sociology. Then you've chosen a job or left a job, chosen another job or left that job. All those things, all the decisions that you've taken, you should have thorough, logical, and reasonable justification. Make that justification ready in words, because you don't have time also to think on that spot and then say. Okay, and bring out all the aspects. Think about yourself, because see, if you are not done something with a malafide intent, keeping those exceptional cases away, certainly there would be some other reason you would have done it. For example, why I did my engineering, because the village that I'm coming from, where there I did not, that time I did not have much knowledge. My father is a farmer, so I did not know much. My elder brother was engineer and he got good job, so I thought I would also get good job, because that was the need of the hour. And that exactly was reflecting in my DAF, because I was coming from that kind of background, village background, father being farmer, this much is income. So they will understand, okay, this is kind of the cultural and family background the person is coming from. They will easily accept that. But if you are son or a daughter an IAS officer residing in Delhi, and you studied in St. Stephen and LSR and something like that, and you have done your graduation from abroad and coming back, and suddenly then you cannot say that I want to sustain myself. So because there was an economic issue in family, I chose this. So there is some mismatch. So it's not that it's fake. It's not that you're saying something fake. The point is you need to have some justification as to exactly what happened. So there are so many things, and obviously when we will take one by one, we will have handholding sessions, one-to-one sessions, DAP sessions. We will certainly tell you as to how you can justify your answers and things like that. Then another aspect is about your present job, whatever you're doing, the graduation, whatever you have done, the optional, whatever optional that you have been choosing, I have chosen. And the most important thing is, if there is some gap between your last job and your this attempt. Like for example, the typical question is, what have you been doing for last 4 years? So the only answer that you may give is, I am preparing for civil services. This is, even if that's the truth, this answer should not be given. You have to have some better answer, because I'm sure you might have done some other thing in your life. Just say that, because you may, it's not that all the time you have to do something economic. Because if your economic condition is better, why would you do it? But you need to do something. You cannot just sit back and relax. And because they also know, more than 1 year, even if you're not done, your schooling was not that strong also, one complete year is enough to prepare yourself for UPSC. If you're taking 4 years, 5 years, means you are not efficient person, you are not a focused person. That's what the perception they get. Anyway, so many things, as I said, graduation, then your last job, the current job that you're doing. If you are in some job, certainly questions are going to come from that particular job. They will check your knowledge of that job, how much interested you are in that particular job, and all those things they will ask. Now here, honesty is very important. Okay, especially, and what is honest and what is polished answer. Polished answer is not dishonesty, because even if you say that, yes sir, there was a economic this thing requirement, but I also loved my job. I wanted to work in IT, because I used to get fascinated with the programs and computer and all. So I always wanted to work here. So I have been working in this IBM or XYZ, or bank sector, or whichever. But if you know that you have chosen this job only because of the economic opportunity, but then it should be reflected in your DAP that yes, you needed to have a job. There is nothing wrong in choosing a job in the jobless kind of situation that we have been having for last 3, 4, 5 years. Any job that actually helps you sustain economically is very good job, as long as it is not obviously illegal and immoral. But there is no wrong in saying that, sir, because for the economic this thing I did this. But it has to be reflected. As I said, your economic background should not reflect that you are very affluent. You are coming from very economically affluent background. So there is some mismatch. So you need to remove all the mismatch in your personal life and the decisions that you have taken. Then you need to well verse yourself with your graduation, your current job, or previous job if you have done something, some particular area. Okay, and all your this DAF, you need to connect it with the current affairs. How? Like if you are an engineer, computer engineer, they will ask about artificial intelligence. They will ask about quantum physics also sometimes. If you are doing something in chemistry, they will ask about maybe coronavirus, because there is some link. If you are a doctor, obviously they will ask about things like coronavirus, SARS, MERS, so many things, and technicality. And if some panelists happen to be a doctor or some medical fellow, then certainly the interview will go in that direction. So you have to prepare in such a way that even 3, 4 layers they go down deep, you are still prepared yourself. You have to prepare yourself in such a way that your preparation brings out all those things that we have been talking about. So point I'm trying to convey is, there are so many things you can prepare, but don't take any load about it, because nothing very drastic is going to happen. But if you prepare slowly, you can assure a better marks in testing. And what we have done at Level Up, we have formulated a program on the basis of our previous experiences, because I have been taking interviews in different institutes before, for different even PCSs, like state services and all. I have been taking interviews. So there, and we know broadly what the demands people have. So we have formulated a plan for you, so that it helps you in at least uh, getting rid of all the myths, getting rid of all the fears, and also not bother too much about things that are not required to be bothered in preparation, but also should not be lax as to assuming that there is nothing important, just go and sit, nothing like that. Prepare yourself, because it's very, it's a golden opportunity. I can tell you, it is the most important thing perhaps that has happened in your life. And am because this is really a golden opportunity. Just imagine, out of 10, 12,000, you are among those 2, 3,000 who got selected. And this is like, last thing, that last hurdle that you need to crack. And by the way, let me tell you the philosophy of UPSC also. The way UPSC, the preliminary examination is like an elimination test. interview is a selection test. It's a positive test. If you show the positive vibe, certainly they will take you. In the sense, they will give more marks, certainly, and then your chances of improving your marks improve. So, considering all this, we have formulated some programs. So, the things that we are going to cover, I'll just glance through so that you will understand what we are going to cover. Now, expert and experienced panel members. So certainly we are trying to kind of make a better mix up for you, so that the panel members should help you in making, asking questions in such a way that you can at least have a hang of what the real interview would be, and which will make you a little more confident and a little more fearless about the interview. On one DAP session, 2 mark interviews. This is what the problem. Obviously, DAP session is perhaps the most important. I would request all of you that take it very seriously, the DAP interview. And obviously, 2 mock interviews. First would be the mock interview as in we would like to kind of, after your DAP session, would like to see you whatever you have already done. And then we'll again have a hand-holding kind of session, feedback and things. And again, we'll ask you to come back for the final mock interview, which would be, again, kind of given, which will give you a chance to experiment and test your improvements, test your betterment or any improvement happened. Now, video recording, obviously video recording the session, it helps in very, very big way, because because you see as a third person, because see, your interviewer is seeing you as a third person from outside, the way you are speaking, the way you are delivering, the way your confidence and the way your, eyes lit up when you hear something which is of your interest, like hobbies and things. They could actually notice that, and you could actually see that this is the wrong thing that I did, and you can have time to improve upon. So this is part of the session, the program. Lectures and sessions on the topic which are important for interview. This is generally what we think. We have a list of issues, topics that we think are most likely to be asked in interview. So we will try to cover that. Here, what is important is your insight and your opinion about that particular thing. You need to have some opinion about as to what is next, what is the analysis, and how it is linked to administration and society at large. So we'll try to help you make yourself ready for that. This we have already started with experts, in the sense we have started with those who have worked in bureaucracy for 20-25 years in different levels, economic service, some other service, account service, so many services, whichever, because every aspect, every feedback is important. So this we have already started. So we'll have many sessions like that, which will certainly help you, because the insider view always helps. Handholding and guidance through the time. This is specifically what we are talking about is the DAP 1-to-1. Then what we will give the feedback and the handholding between the 2 interviews. That is your first mock and the second mock, so that you can improve yourself and have a better chance of selection and better marks rather. Then thematic discussion on the state issues asked in interview. This mota is linked with current affairs, but not just current affairs. The state specific issues, like if you're from UP, if you're from Kerala, if you're from Tamil Nadu, if you're from Rajasthan, there are some issues which are important or which are relevant today. We would certainly have discussions and some aspects where you can get some insight as in information also, and insight as in linking also. So, conceptual clarity. Thematic discussions on educational background. Obviously, discussions on if you're engineer, what questions can be asked. If you're doctor, what questions can be. If you're then pharmacy and BA economics and BA history, okay, and MBA or any other thing. If you have anything of that sort, we would try to cover as much as possible, because it depends on the students. Okay, students, how their demand is. So these are the features that we have designed for you, and certainly once program starts. So here we would like to keep in mind that our program will keep it very kind of tailor-made and customized according to the need of even individual students, because interview is very individual. So as and when the things go on, the feedback from the students demands something else, we would certainly incorporate that in our this thing. As of now, because now results have come, so we came to know that around 50+ students who have been our students otherwise Some students are from optional this thing level up students I'm talking about, current affairs batch, optional anthropology, sociology batch. So they have been students of level up. So certainly they will be part of our this thing. So but we have been actually getting feedback from them right from the mains was over. So we also know as to what questions and what doubts people will be having. Lastly, I would like to tell you one thing. Even if you think that you have some other issues, as in, you have some fear, some psychological, emotional issues, as in, tension, some kind of stress, no need to worry. I can guarantee you, once you come here and talk to us, I can literally guarantee you that after one or two interactions with us, you would be much better into preparation and you would be actually back into the race. So I would end myself here, and I'm expecting all of you with very overwhelming kind of participation for yourself, and for us also to kind of give whatever we have vis-a-vis the knowledge and wisdom about interview, because we have been better performers in interview. We have been taking interview as a panelist in different institutes. We have been doing DAP sessions and also mock interviews and things like that. So I would wish you all the best for your preparation and hope to see you here. Thank you.